Hey everybody, Dirili here. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Code Realize Guardian of Rebirth. We are on Saint Germain's story, and we've been trapped in his mansion for a while, which I find quite pleasant myself, even though he's trying to kill us. But still, we get to be alone with Saint Germain. What more can you ask for, except for not to be killed? Well, anyway, you can just sit back, relax, and let me read you a story. Midnight. I lay on the bed thinking about everything that's happened. There is only one full day left until Saint Germain has declared that he would kill me. When that time comes, I know that he'll make sure to kill me, even though he may hesitate. Saint Germain says he has a reason to kill me. I still don't know what it is. But he is sticking to his reason and definitely intends to kill me. I don't want to die. The words that spill from me now never would have occurred to me back when I was shut inside my mansion. Meeting Lupin and seeing and walking in the outside world, Impy, Victor, and Van Helsing, and the time spent with Saint Germain. Even though my life may only be artificial, perhaps all these experiences have given me a desire to continue living. I don't want to die, for Saint Germain's sake. Obviously, I don't want to die for my own sake as well. But more than that, I feel that Saint Germain would be left with lasting emotional trauma if he was forced to kill me. I bite my lip. I wonder if I can escape from here. It doesn't seem like Saint Germain will listen to anything I have to say at this point. But maybe Lupin and the others can get through to him. I'll escape from this place and meet up with them all. If I face Saint Germain with all the friends that he has been spending time with, then perhaps... All right. I recall Saint Germain's sad expression as I get out of bed. First, I check the room for any possible means to escape. Just as he had said, my poison doesn't seem to have any effect on the locked doors or the tightly shut windows. I try the walls and floor as well, but the poison has no effect on any surface that could lead out of this room. He said that he'd use Victor's formula, but is it really possible to poison-proof this much space alone in such a short time? If the poison doesn't work, then... I pick up a chair and slam it against the window. It's a clean hit, but the window doesn't break at all. I wonder what material it's made from. It looks so fragile, but doesn't budge. After that, I continue trying different ways to escape from the room, being extremely thorough to check any crevice. But all my time and effort are spent in vain, and the sky is beginning to turn white when I give up. My breathing is uneven. I'm pretty tired after my intense search. I wonder if she tried, kicking a hole in the wall, because often there's soft spots in walls that you could easily punch or kick through, and then maybe she could melt through any parts behind the wall with her poison, because I think only the surfaces should be poison-proofed. Or maybe she could even tear off a piece of the wallpaper and then melt the wall behind the wallpaper. The stress from knowing that a friend is intending to kill me is probably a big factor in my fatigue as well. I lie on the bed to take a short break. I grow impatient, feeling that I need to do something about this situation. But instead, the tiredness overtakes me, and I fall into a deep sleep. I awake to the sudden sensation of bedsheets being flung off me. I open my eyes in surprise and see Saint Germain's face right in front of me. Well, that's rude. He's looming over me.
Oh, did I wake you? Good morning.
He's going to kill me. I break out in goosebumps all over my body, and whatever drowsiness I still have is blown away instantly. I instinctively thrust my arms forward, trying to throw him aside. But he grabs my hand and forces me to stand up. Before I know it, he's holding both my wrists in one hand and is covering my mouth with the other. Just like when he had been strangling me, his hand seems unaffected by my poison where it touches my skin.
Oh, unfortunately your poison won't work on me, and these gloves have been poison-proofed, just like your own clothing.
He shrugs, then looks me in the eyes. There should be one more day before the time Saint Germain specified that I would die. So what's going on? I glare at the Count in protest. For some reason, I sense a hint of desperation in his expression.
Please don't look at me that way. I'm sorry this is so sudden, but the situation has changed a bit. For the moment, I can't have you running around like last night.
That must mean that he heard me making noise in the room as I was attempting to escape. Before I can figure out my next move, he pushes me against one of the bedposts with overpowering strength. Then he quickly ties me to it.
Obviously, the rope will not be melted by your poison either. Now you definitely will not be able to run.
His face is right in front of mine. A perfume with an almost sweet scent tickles my nose. I twist my body, trying to free myself from the rope, but the more I struggle, the lighter the rope digs into me.
There is a reason for this. Please stay quiet. You are mine in life, and I shall guide you in your death. You are mine. I won't give you to anyone else.
So he's a yandere.
Yes, even if the true course of fate desires you. I shall be the one to end your life, and that is your deliverance and my punishment.
This is the second time I've heard these words. He's still smiling as usual, and yet, at the same time, it almost looks like he's crying behind that smile.
It was probably unnecessary to go this far, but if you were to find you, I might at least be able to say that I had you properly contained.
I guess he's talking about that knight, the man in the armor that we don't know who he is yet. Saint Germain carefully steps away. He removes his hand from over my mouth, and I'm finally able to draw a deep breath. We lock eyes. I'm not really sure what the point of this sudden activity is, but there's no point in hiding anything now that he knows I was trying to get out last night. Saint Germain, there's one last thing I want to say. I fully intend to escape tonight before midnight.
Why would you tell me that? It's like you were going out of your way to be caught.
I didn't want to say nothing. I feel like that would be betraying you. I really feel like something is wrong with me too, talking like this when so much is on the line. But these words are coming from my heart.
You really are incredibly honest. I have been betraying your trust all this time, yet you say you don't wish to betray mine.
I stare at the Count, who wears a smile of self-mockery. Even if I am able to somehow escape, I don't know if I'll ever see Saint Germain ever again. That's why I want to leave him with some parting words. Whether or not I'm able to escape, there is one more thing I want to tell you. Goodbye, Saint Germain. No matter what happens, I'm still glad you came into my life. If I hadn't met you, I don't think I would have the will to live that I do now. Saint Germain is silent for a long time. He stares at me, then opens his mouth to say something. But after a moment, he shuts it without a word. He continues looking at me, as if making an effort to break through his hesitation.
Goodbye, Miss Cardia.
He says only this, then leaves the room. His soft voice seems to linger in the air behind him after he's gone. As soon as I'm alone again, so many words begin flooding into my dazed mind. Why did he suddenly decide to tie me up like this, when he had said there was still time? Saint Germain said that the situation had changed. If we're now in a situation where my moving about would cause trouble for him, I might be able to make this work in my favor. I say this out loud, making myself believe in every word. Stay calm, don't panic. The most important time to be calm is when you're in trouble. That was something Lupin had taught me. I have to understand the situation I'm in, understand my options, and do my best to catch the enemy off guard. Those are all the skills necessary to stay alive. Saint Germain knew everything there was to know about my poison, and thus was fully prepared to deal with it. But there was something he hadn't realized. I learned how to be a thief from the great Lupin. He made sure to teach me how to free myself from a rope, too. When I was being tied, I twisted my wrists to create a gap, so now I can keep twisting my wrists to widen the gap. It's a very small thing, but according to Lupin, at times like this, it's the little things that dictate the tides of battle. What is Saint Germain thinking? Why is he trying to kill me? I'm going to hold off on thinking about these things. Right now, the most important thing is to get out of here alive. I work on widening the small gap in the rope, and time flies by. The sunlight entering the room pans across the floor, and then lengthens as the sun begins to go down. Even then, the rope isn't loose enough for my hand to pass through it. Then, a while after the sun has set, my wrists are finally free of the rope.
Wow, that is a long time.
Yes. I whisper my excitement, then untie the rest of the knots and relax slightly. I regained the freedom to move my body. Now I have bigger problems to tackle. There's no clock in the room, so I can't tell what time it is. I was so engrossed in freeing myself from the rope that I have no idea how long it's been since the sun went down. When will Saint Germain finish preparing the poison and return to this room? Will it be a few hours? Or is he on his way here even now as I stand here? I try to block out any fear and unease, and once I have finished preparing for my escape, I turn to the keyhole in the door. This was something I had been thinking about before untying myself. My poison won't work on this door. I'm not strong enough to break it down. All that remains, then, is the lock-picking skills that Lupin taught me. I don't have any tools on hand, though. Well, I can just make something. I take off my gloves and set my sights on a handle sticking out of a nearby shelf. The handle is metal. I wonder if I can fashion some kind of wire out of it. An ordinary person wouldn't be able to do that, but I can. I gently touch the handle with my bare hand. It seems that the handle hasn't been protected from my poison, as it begins to melt and smoke the moment I touch it. Can I use this? I feel the metal becoming warmer, and I begin to create a thin metal stick from it, like twisting a piece of thread. It doesn't look great, but it should do the trick. My breathing naturally becomes shallower as I stick the two wires into the keyhole. I lose track of how much time this takes. I feel a click. I put my hand against the door and give it a gentle push. The door, which hadn't budged at all until this point, opens a tiny creak. I look around cautiously and step out into the hall. It feels like ages since I was last outside this room. This sudden freedom has given me a sense of liberation, but I'm also terrified that it could be taken away from me at any moment. I juggle these emotions as I reach out to the window in the hallway. It doesn't melt. He even poison-proofed outside the room, too. Then the only other way out is the door that leads outside. If this mansion has the same floor plan as the other one, then I know where the back door should be. But it may not be an exact replica, so the only exit I know of for certain is the door in the main hall. I need to hurry. I run, trying to contain my panic, and eventually arrive at the main hall. Only one set of doors separates me from the outside world. I jump at the door and turn the knob. Cold sweat trickles down my back as I realize that the door must be locked from the inside and shows no sign of opening. The hall is vast, and I can be seen from anywhere. It's only a matter of time before I'm caught. The poison probably won't work, but... I take my gloves off once more and bring my finger close to the keyhole. A slight bit of smoke begins to rise from the knob. It's working. There seems to be some sort of poison proofing here as well, as the melting is so much slower than its usual effect. Why just here? Could he have known that I would attempt to escape and made it so that the poison would only have a slight effect? And here's another place where we can get another quick bad ending before we go on the correct path, so I will do that. Let's see. Keep using the poison will get us a game end, so that's what we'll do real quick. If it's working at all, I'll just keep going. More smoke begins to rise from the lock, and my finger slowly sinks into the keyhole. The time doing this feels like an eternity to me. I'm completely visible and vulnerable, standing in the open hall. If Saint Germain checks my room, it's all over, and even if he doesn't, all he has to do is pass by this hall to spot me. I begin to regret that I didn't try picking the lock again like earlier. But the keyhole has almost completely melted. There's no turning back now. Hurry, hurry, hurry! As my impatience mounts, my finger finally reaches the end of the lock. It's open. I can finally get out.
Not so fast.
I spin around and instantly feel something thrust into me. I don't feel any pain. I feel just an odd sensation, like something is off. I look down and see a blade lodged deep in my chest. This can't be happening. The red blood flowing from the wound looks so surreal. I feel totally weak, and just as I'm about to fall to the ground, Saint Germain catches me. In my dying moments, his face has a kind yet sad expression.
Goodbye, Miss Cardia. May you rest in peace.
As I hear his voice ever so softly, I fall into darkness. Game end. And let's go back and choose the proper path. This time we'll pick the lock. Stay calm, stay calm. The poison will definitely break the lock. But right now, I'm racing against time, and the poison will just take too long. And I've successfully picked one lock in this mansion already. If this door uses the same style of lock, I might be at an advantage since I already have experience with it. If that's the case, I use the wires from before to pick at the lock. I tell myself to remain calm over and over again, trying my best to keep my hands from shaking. Hurry, hurry, hurry. This is taking longer than expected. I try to control my emotions as best I can, not knowing when Saint Germain will appear. Then, finally, I hear the sound I've been waiting to hear. Yes! I can't help but let out a small cry of relief. At the same moment,
Miss Cardia, impossible. How did you...
I hear Saint Germain's voice from behind. I resist the urge to turn around. I open the doors and jump outside, then slam them behind me and start running. This is one of the escape techniques Lupin taught me. It's so he won't be able to tell which way I run. Once I'm in the forest, I deliberately go off the path and run into a thicket. It would be foolish of me to run along the beaten path. Saint Germain is my only pursuer. He doesn't have any hunting dogs that can track my scent. If I run into the brush, it'll be nearly impossible to spot me in the night forest. Not even Saint Germain will be able to follow me. I'll be fine now, just fine. Oh, don't count your chicks before they're hatched. The terror of death finally begins to set in, gradually taking over my body. My anxiety and fear keep me moving, and I continue to run without stopping. After a while, I suddenly enter an open area. I've seen this place before, the streets we traveled before entering the forest. Huh? The path we took to the mansion made it seem like the forest was much deeper and further from the city. I haven't even been running for 10 minutes. I'm confused by the fact that I'm out of the forest much sooner than I'd expected. Maybe that forest had a strange power. Or maybe Saint Germain had been circling the forest on our way here to throw off my sense of direction and distance. I'd say that's pretty likely. Either way, there's no way for me to know, and I don't intend to pursue the matter any further. I look back into the forest. For some reason, the sad look on Saint Germain's face crosses my mind. Saint Germain, we'll meet again. I hesitate, still moving forward, then break back into a run. After running for a while, I finally start to see the Count's original mansion that we had all been staying at. I finally made it this far. I can see everyone else soon.
But something worries me that the mansion is all dark for some reason.
As I think this, my lips naturally lift into a smile. The first thing I'll do when I see them all is apologize for worrying them, then tell them about Saint Germain. Right as I'm thinking this, I suddenly get the feeling that I'm being watched and stop moving. Something huge cuts through the air, barely missing me. With a huge rumble, it smashes into the ground. Ugh! I'm thrown back by the blast of wind and stone. Ugh! I cry out from the pain that hits my entire body. I gulp in a breath, then shakily stand up, cringing against the pain. What just... I squint my eyes to get a better look into the cloud of dust. A gentle breeze blows the dust aside, and my assailant is revealed. A huge figure stands there. It's a white knight, covered head to toe in a suit of armor. A huge sword protrudes from the ground. The sheer size of the figure and its sword gives me a sense of overwhelming awe. Is this Twilight? No, it can't be. My judgment is groundless, but the knight in front of me possesses a formidable air, completely apart from that of Twilight. The figure stands with great dignity amidst the dust of the moonlight, and it has such Herculean strength that it could throw this giant blade with the strength to cut a gouge out of the ground. If whoever was wearing that suit were to glare at me from behind that helm, I would be petrified by fright, unable to move. That's right. I've seen that suit of armor before, that first night I stayed at the mansion. I saw that huge figure walking in the hall. I hadn't been seeing things. When I asked Saint Germain about it, he'd said that he had no idea what it could be. But what if he was lying to hide the identity of this attacker? Are you working with Saint Germain? The armored figure responds with silence. It easily lifts the huge sword from the ground and slowly takes a combat stance towards me. This person is trying to kill me. I don't understand why, but I need to run. By pure instinct, my fear pushes me to move, and I turn around and try to make a run for it. My assailant takes a great leap and lands directly in my path. It spins around to face me, still sliding along the ground with the momentum from the jump, and drops into a crouch. The friction between the armor and the gravel on the ground creates sparks. Whoa! It can't be possible to move like that, wearing all that armor. This figure in front of me, it's no ordinary person, no matter how I look at it. The assailant lifts its giant blade once more and points it towards me. There's no place to run. That's all I can think. A gunshot rings out in the darkness of the forest, striking a spark from the armor. The figure staggers slightly, then turns to look at the bushes in the forest. There stands... Yes, Van Helsing!
Oh? Rock salt doesn't work on you. I see. That armor you're wearing is pretty sturdy.
I see Van Helsing quickly load his shotgun with a different type of ammunition, and a wide-eyed Victor standing nearby. Van Helsing, Victor! Van Helsing ignores me, then aims his other gun at the knight and fires. But the assailant raises its sword, and I see several sparks leap from the blade.
And deflecting bullets. You're ridiculous. Those are lethal, you know. Cardia, are you hurt?
I hear someone call out to me, and turn towards the voice to see Victor running towards me.
We've been looking for you. I'm so glad we happened to get back early.
Thank you.
Who's that? Who's that in the armor?
I don't know either. I was just suddenly attacked. I watch Van Helsing and the attacker intently as they slowly close in on each other.
Tell me one thing. Who are you?
The assailant doesn't respond. It simply stands ready to strike.
You're not the talkative type. A skilled assassin, I see.
Van Helsing's lips curl into a smile, as if he is enjoying this.
Though you're a bit too conspicuous to be an assassin.
Flames light up the darkness of the night. Those are the explosive shells that Van Helsing has used in several battles. Intense smoke rises from the impacts, completely covering the armored knight.
Did you get it? Not yet.
Van Helsing replies tersely as he reloads his guns. And, just as Van Helsing said, when the wind blows the smoke away, the armored figure is standing there, just as it had been before.
Not even a scratch. I suppose I'll have to switch tactics. Victor, take her and wait at the location I pointed out to you on the way here. Got it!
But Van Helsing...
We'll only get in his way if we stay behind. We should go for his sake.
I turn back and look at Van Helsing.
I'll buy you some time, then follow the two of you. Now go!
I turn away from him and begin to run, with Victor tugging at my arm. We run away from the mansion and into the forest. After running for a while, Victor stops, out of breath.
Wait, Cardia. Let's wait here. This is where Van Helsing said to wait.
All right, but do you think Van Helsing is going to be safe?
He'll be fine. He's strong. You've seen him fight a number of times.
I nod slightly at Victor's words. Yes, Van Helsing is definitely strong. But that armored attacker seemed so abnormally powerful. He wasn't even fazed by the onslaught of those exploding shells. How will Van Helsing be able to fight when his best weapon, his guns, won't work against it? We wait restlessly for a while. Then we hear someone approaching through the underbrush. It's Van Helsing.
Sorry to keep you waiting.
Van Helsing, I'm so glad you're all right. My relief is short-lived. I see a trail of blood running down his leg, and I gasp. Van Helsing, that...
I was caught off guard. We shouldn't have to worry about it chasing us, though. I was able to outrun it. That looks pretty bad.
Victor looks at Van Helsing's wound and gives it a quick temporary treatment. I'm sorry. This is all my fault.
You better be. Where have you been?
That's...
We can go over the details later. That night that attacked us in front of the mansion, it knew where we were staying. I want to take a better look at Helsing's wound, so we'll need to go somewhere to take a break. Cardia, you don't look so well either. Let's make it our top priority to find a new location to stay.
And you guys still need to notify Lupin and Impy. We both nod at Victor's suggestion. We then begin to look for lodging, renting some rooms in the middle-class area of London. Victor and Van Helsing share a room, so I'm alone in mine. I exhale a little. I've been running non-stop tonight. My body is showing signs of fatigue. I just want to fall asleep without thinking about anything. But there is so much I need to tell everyone. I'll first go to Victor and Van Helsing's room. As I'm thinking this, I hear a knock at my door. For a split second, the image of Saint Germain carrying meals to me crosses my mind. I shake my head, knowing that would be impossible, and open the door. There stands Victor.
Oh good, you're still awake.
Actually, I should stop here. You know, this isn't exactly the best place to stop, but I can't go on any further. We'll pick it up in the next video. I'd be so happy to see you there or in some of my other videos, and I'd be so grateful for any likes, comments, subscriptions, or shares with your friends to show some support. Thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you all health, happiness, and safety. They're really signing out. Bye-bye, everybody.